Coast to the East Coast back home. I may try to drive. I left at 8 a.m. this morning. If I continue to drive, I can be home by 2 a.m. I think I'm going to try to do that if I can stay well enough. But I know the sound quality for this is terrible. My rear muffler got damaged, so if I can salvage this through some audio equipment, I'll release this. If not, it'll be a good practice video for me. But when you spend almost all your time, like I do, looking at these giant systems, through society or through governmental intervention, or whatever it is, I don't ever see people talking about this. Maybe I'm not following the right algorithms. I'm not watching CNN. I'm not watching Fox. I listen to NPR. I think it's probably the funniest radio show of all time. Better than Saturday Night Live. NPR is perfect. Perfectly written scripture. But anyways, no one's talking about this, and it's pretty clear to me, so I want to bring this up. The loan forgiveness. If the loan forgiveness stuff happens, I don't know why people are surprised that the loan forgiveness would happen. So, depending on your mindset, there's different layers to society. There's a whole group of society that sees the world and society as the government. Like, we're all in this together, and the tribe is the government. And it should own and control and rule everything, and the intelligent, most elitist go in there, and if you say, no, I want to live free outside of it and work together, and they say, well, why don't you join the government then? And you're like, no, I don't want to join the government. I don't want to say this like it's a negative thing, because it's a good evolutionary strategy for a large portion of society, and even for the portion of society not attached to it. So if there wasn't DNA strands that were predisposed, let's say, to being collective, and ones that were predisposed to being independent, and everything in between, we'd be in trouble. You know, you often see timelines of evolution, and it's just like a monkey, a taller monkey, Neanderthal, human, and it's linear. It's not linear, it's branched off in an infinite amount, or almost an infinite amount of directions, conceptually infinite amount of directions. So if we purely look to within the system and we dissect the United States so that, let's not dissect it, but make it monolithic, as if everybody within the United States already agreed and believed that the government is the one and final answer. All hail the Great Borg. When you're sending people, I gotta back up here, so when you're sending people to public school and they're getting education, quote unquote, explaining how good the government is, the fools are not the Democrats or the left-leaning people or the pro-government people. It's the right-leaning people, the libertarians and stuff, that just continue to keep their schools in these machines. It's like if Coca-Cola ran a school, you would expect them to teach that Coca-Cola is the best, and if Pepsi runs a school, I'm sure there's Pepsi and Coke College, they're advertising their products. So when you go to a government school, you learn about those government things. So when they needed to push the propaganda and the agenda to the next level, and this is all, if you stick with me, I'm going to go through, and this is going to lead up to what's going on with student loans and student loan forgiveness. So they're teaching this particular way, that this is the government way, this is the best way. Here's the history you need to learn. Here are the ideas you need to learn. Here's the criteria. And people will say it's biased. Yes, everybody is biased. You're discriminating against every other piece of content in the world right now to listen to this because you think this is the best use. You have a bias towards all other content. So it's just, it is what it is, what it is. So as they begin teaching you more and more stuff, and it gets higher and higher, they're starting to recognize that it's kind of gone the way now, but for a while there was the Fight for 15, which is, and this is a whole economic Federal Reserve, MMT, which is modern monetary theory talk, but so I won't get into that. But when they're pushing for the 15, they're basically saying you go to a government school for 12 years, maybe more, and when you get out, you don't even have the skill set to get a job that pays you $15 an hour. And adults were trying to support their families in these low-skilled jobs. Sorry, got some traffic here. And these low-skilled jobs trying to make 15. That's gone, because what they figured out is if the government could then pay for college, you can now take these people that were in school for 12 years that didn't have the skills to make $15 an hour and print money you could take from the middle class. I mean, the poor doesn't pay taxes, we know that. The rich by design does not pay taxes. They shelter through a government entity called the corporation, where they can privatize and keep to themselves any profits and subsidize any losses to the plebs and the serfs. So now they pay for college, and people are like, this is dumb. You're going to school for gender studies, you're going to school for race theory this, or whatever. No private entity bank would give you a loan on that because they can't get the return on the money. And then what happened was, just like when the people that had gone to 12 years of college got out and there was no jobs, people had went to an additional 4 to 6 years and got these other degrees, and there was no gender studies, there was no any of these jobs available that they got degrees in. But they kept fighting and fighting, and next thing you know, a lot of these corporations started having HR departments, and lo and behold, these jobs were created. It's kind of like Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. So they created all these HR degrees, paid for through the middle class, who actually, and not even real, because they just print it off. The taxes that the middle class pays is more of just stay in line, because it doesn't even pay the interest on the debt. But you get my feeling. It's a squeeze on the middle class, because the true tax that they're paying is the inflation tax as they print that money. So once that's all said and done, and they jam all these corporations with all these HR jobs that were created being funded through printing of money, and you say, well, why, what incentive is that for the corporations to take that in when it's so difficult, and everybody's like, go broke, go woke, go broke. But it's like, you really don't go broke, go woke, because if you create a situation where all businesses must have X, Y, or Z, and you're already a multi-million-dollar business, and you can already navigate this with funding and lawyers and attorneys and stuff, really what you're doing is you're making another obstacle, another barrier to entry more difficult within the market to cut off lower competition so you can stay at the top longer. So it's beneficial to the corporations to play ball, continue collecting taxes, to give back to the government, and play this whole thing. So where do these student loan reparations or forgiveness programs come back into play? They come back into play because now that they've filled all those jobs, they had a bunch of people that said, hey, we got on board. I went to your propaganda classes. I believe in the government. I'm part of the Borg. I went and I took 4 years of gender studies. I took 4 years of African American studies. I took all these courses that you said that I needed to be part of the agenda. And I don't have one of these cushy corporate jobs now that pays me money so I can pay my student loan off, because they ran out. They over printed money for colleges. They turned around and they created these jobs in these corporations, but now they're still packed. So this forgiveness is for the people that even after 12 years and then an additional 4 to 6 years still couldn't make it, can get helped out. Now, yeah, sure, some of you are probably upset saying, oh, I went to 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 years of school, and you're saying I'm too big of an idiot to survive? Yes and no. Yes, like you got to figure something out. It is what it is, what it is. So it stinks. So you need to figure out a path. There's got to be a way. You have to figure something out, because this isn't changing anytime soon. But I also understand that they're $30 trillion in debt, inflation's through the roof, buying power's in the basement, the dollar's worth nothing. You've been lied to. You spent 16, 18 years of your life learning gibberish. You have zero skills, no parental structure, no communal structure. You've been treated like a pawn in a game and an agenda for a group of individuals that want to believe society should be controlled from the top down. You know, they always say that the Republicans are all about trickle-down economics, but it's government in general that's about trickle-down. It's either trickle-down social etiquette or trickle-down finances. It's like, we're the elites, you shut the F up, you do what we say, and we'll give you some crumbs. Now, having said that, as an individual, you're responsible for the things you sign. Now, 18-year-olds are in a tough spot. Your brain's not fully formed until probably 26, 27, 25, 26, 27. You are still trying to fit into the crowd. People are getting canceled left and right. They are fear-mongering you into college, fear-mongering you into the degrees, racism this, homophobia that. Like, everything's just bam, 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 and like your life could be over in one wrong thing. So you're surviving. You're still in survival mode. So if you're getting trapped in survival mode and they're pushing your survival mode, I get it. You're not making your best decisions, and you can't really make your best decisions so you can really sit back, feel secure, and look at everything. But I'm going to end this here. I wanted to get this on paper. My muffler's so loud. Apologize. But the real reason that they're giving loan forgiveness is it's a small kickback to all the individuals that played ball as part of the agenda to fill these roles that they were going to put into the quote-unquote private sector, but it's really not. The corporations, I mean, they are private. The corporations are the government are the corporations, and it's all a closed circuit that we're not allowed in. George Carlin said it best, is, it's a big club and you're not part of it. So these people will get their kickbacks and then just, have to disappear into the thing. We tried to get you one of those cushy little jobs where you could be angry and get people canceled in the HR department, but we couldn't find you one, so here's your consolation prize. Alright, hope that makes some clarity for me. If you think I'm a complete lunatic, I mean, you can put it down in the comments, but I think what's going to happen is the more and more you listen to me, the more and more you're going to realize that this channel is probably not going to be around too long. I had a Facebook page and an Instagram account back in 2015. I made